We are live. It's very exciting. I'm really thrilled about this conversation. I feel like I'm going to learn so much, and I have so many questions about the things we're going to talk about today. I will do a quick introduction. I'm Dr. Stephanie Thrower. I'm a psychologist. I have a private practice, but I'm also an AI coach. I'm getting more comfortable talking, like saying that, it's a funny thing to be like, and I do AI. And I
You
really
are deep in AI.
am deep in AI. And thank you for that reframe.
Yes.
And yeah, I have been loving doing these Substack lives because I realize how much I love asking people questions and diving deep. And people are offering me a good chunk of time where we are able to kind of go in and get to defining information that's very confusing, but also talking about the person behind the work that I'm doing, right? So we are going to do both today. We're going to talk about AEO, which I think people just got comfortable with the idea of SEO. Which I know for you, it's like that was 15 years ago, right? Or I don't even know. We're going to talk about branding. We're going to talk about what luxury branding does and can help people who have expert-based businesses. And we're going to talk about how to use AI in all of these things, right? Yeah. So today I'm going to go ahead and read your bio. That's so beautiful. So Tracey Bauer is with us. She's the founder of Lens on Luxury, a marketing studio built for the optical industry, where brand standards matter and trust is everything. With 33 years in optical, she pairs deep industry fluency with modern AI execution, helping practices connect the pieces that actually drive patient decisions: websites, SEO, AEO, Google Business Profile, reviews, and social video. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, and so excited. And especially, like, that's the thing, is you are deep in AI. We are in the same AI programs together, and it's so weird because it's moving so quickly. None of us can keep a hold of all of it, but we are really on the leading edge of all of this. We have to sometimes sit back and remember all of that. Like, even think of where we are right now compared to where we were when we saw each other live 6 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. And I think that is, 6 weeks ago, right? And then, dear God, if we move back to 6 months ago, right? What was in our hands? I think it can feel very overwhelming. And like you said, it can feel very easy to undermine how deep we are in it because we're aware of the discrepancy of like how much time we might need to sit down to learn this other new thing. Or I've been calling, there's someone on Instagram a developer that calls non-developers normies. And, like we're not coding ourselves, but we're learning all of these things. And it's like we're learning very quickly. So today we're going to dive in. And I think the first question, I'm a vocational psychologist, which I say that frequently and people just start sleeping, literally.
So why don't you explain what a vocational psychologist is for my audience that might not know?
A vocational psychologist is a career dork. Someone who is thinking about the psychology of work in our identities. And I'm so... like my mind has sort of been blown in the space of AI because I'm thinking about how not only the world of work is going to change, but how that's going to change our psychology.
And we can just do a whole deep dive of my whole career trajectory that's landed me here now. This could be my own private therapy session.
I know. It's like career story therapy. We're going to do that, but it's going to be a little shorter. But I think the first piece that kind of helps us orient ourselves with your expertise is thinking about where luxury brand marketing for 30 years, how do you see coming? I don't know. I'm thinking about like what did you see coming that made you move into AI in 2020 before most of us were paying any attention?
Yeah. So, yeah. So really, really super quick background. I went to engineering school and I fell into working in the optical industry.
Mhm.
It's a long story, but I came out to California on a vacation and I stayed, which is $600 in my pocket, completely freaked out my Northeast family. And it's all worked out. I live here in Marin County. I have a beautiful life. I love it. Um, I fell into working for an optometrist, which led into the whole optical industry. And I eventually ended up working for EssilorLuxottica, which is it is now the largest of the eyewear industry companies. And I ended up being an account manager for them. The last 13 years of my corporate career, I exclusively worked on the Chanel eyewear brand. And Chanel is one of the most luxury brands in the world. Most of the big luxury houses are part of these conglomerates. LVMH, Kering, there's these different big conglomerates. Chanel is singularly owned. So a lot of people don't realize that. It's a $14 billion a year company. At least that used to be what it was when I was still there just 2 years ago. I left, it was June 1st, 2 years ago that I left my corporate career. But during the pandemic, I started to, and even before the pandemic, so in 2019, Chanel, so to be a part of the Chanel network, they would vet people. It wasn't just enough that you wanted to carry their products, they would vet you. It was a really difficult thing. And I dealt with doctors. So I was dealing with like an optometrist, but they would be a boutique and they just couldn't understand that. I'm going to give you money. I want to sell your stuff. And then they hated my parent company that I worked for, EssilorLuxottica, as being this horrible, evil company that was keeping this from them. And it wasn't them, it was Chanel. And I had this really strange position because we worked very closely with Chanel. Chanel controlled their dealership network. Chanel controlled their marketing. Chanel controlled the product, the design, everything about it. Luxottica made the product and we distributed the product for them. So none of us on that team I think we had about 60 of us globally. So it's a very tiny team inside of EssilorLuxottica that worked with Chanel, but we would never have had that position if Chanel didn't want us to. And what was beautiful, I think we were just talking earlier about the Karl Lagerfeld film that I put out, and it showed a couple of the beautiful couture. I was at that couture showing in Paris where you see the forest. And I had some just amazing experiences being on that brand and being inside a house that's been there for more than 100 years. They shared all of that. And in my corporate career, I got to work on the Bulgari brand and the Tiffany and Company. And I was there in the 90s on the Ray-Ban, and I'm wearing a pair of Ray-Ban Metas now because I love the technology behind them. So yeah, so just an amazing experience. But what Chanel did in 2019, they would do an audit of everyone that carried their brand. And it used to always be about, were you luxury enough? But now they added, what does your digital presence look like? They cared your Google profile, what customers were saying about you, what your website looked like, and what did your social media look like.
Mm-hmm.
And this completely freaked out our doctor network. But Chanel knew, and we all know 45% of all new leads for businesses are coming through social channels. And if you're not visible, and if it doesn't match, and this is the thing, if you think about a lot of doctors, if you go and look at their social channels, it looks like they're out of business. It does. Or they had some very generic marketing company doing stock photography, and they looked like the discount center. And Chanel, actually, they closed 30% of the network that next year. And in talking with, yeah, they did. They just cut them out. In talking with the doctors, they didn't know where to go to. So when I decided I wanted to make a career shift, and yeah, I started to talk to my doctors. What are their pain points? Who do you buy these things from? And that started 3 years ago. And I did a year of deep diving into all of that. And then, as you know, we're in the same communities. Anything I do, I always rise to kind of the top 10%. That's just the way I am. I'm wired that way. It's very New Yorker of me. But I just deep dived, and nowadays I'm very focused. It's social media, websites, blog. It's all the AEO things. And this is the 5 things that people have to worry about to show up to the language models. And I know your channel and even my channel, most people don't understand what AEO is. And every single business in 2026 has to be completely redone for AEO. And Google just switched things completely 2 weeks ago. And traffic has drastically changed for people. They're not sending them to your website anymore. They're scanning your website and giving summaries and recommending. And more people are now just asking Claude or Chat GPT or Perplexity or GenSpark or whatever AI they're using, or Gemini, and getting their answers there. So your website needs to be rebuilt to answer the natural questions that people are going to ask. You need to put a lot of code on the back end of it. You need to do all of the schema markup. You need to put files that allow agents to crawl your website and quickly grab the data that they need to grab. So yeah, that all has to be rebuilt. So every day, for all of the doctors I work with, that is what I'm doing. I take a different doctor every single day that I work with, and I'm scanning everything, and we're redoing all of the pages. We're de-indexing older blogs. It's a lot to keep on top of it. And this is the thing. It is a bit much, and you're probably better off having a specialist that really understands everything. But I love, just like you love doing this, I love telling people stories. And social media has been a great way for me to do that with my clients. And one of the things that I do is I use software, which is high level, and their software platform. And makes it so easy to push content across all of the social channels. And AI loves a lot of signals. So the more signals your business is giving AI, it is more likely to show up. If you've done all of the other stuff that we talked about,
which is not a lot, but yes.
But having a Substack and having a Facebook and having an Instagram and a TikTok and a YouTube channel and a LinkedIn presence, and it sounds incredibly overwhelming. But when you have the right software in place, you make one piece of content and you push it to every place. And then you have to connect it all. You have to connect it to the website and when you start to make all of these digital connections, the AI sees lots of signals for your name, your business. And if you're answering the questions that people are going to be asking, the AI might surface you.
Might, right. Yeah, no, exactly.
Well, and that's what you do, is you constantly start to optimize to be that. And what was super exciting for me personally, especially because I just moved into all of this in the last 3 years and I didn't leave my corporate job. So I didn't really move into it until 2 years ago. But last August, when Google did the first switch and turned on AI overviews, all of a sudden, a bunch of my clients started showing up in AI overviews. And what does that mean? Before, you used to have to pay Google to be sponsored. You used to have an SEO agency, probably, that was doing a whole bunch of blogs for you to get to page 1 of Google, right? Because people don't take the time to go into page 2 or page 3. And like some of the doctors I worked with, they were on like page 10,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and all of a sudden, they started showing up in AI overviews, and AI overviews was up above the sponsored people that were paying Google.
I know.
So my traffic doubled. And here Neil Patel was out there, who's a big SEO guru, was telling everyone's traffic got cut in half. And I was sitting there smiling, and I'm like, yay, my clients didn't.
Yeah.
But I think the social media aspect, and it's not talked about enough, helped push that dial, because my clients are on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and YouTube. It also helped surface them.
Totally. I think I have maybe like 1,500 questions for everything you just said, but I will we'll break it down, because I think what is true of you and true of a lot of people that I work with, or that is in my audience, is they have a lot of different interests, and they want to actually, I don't know, build upon those interests vocationally. They want to build this piece of their work and this piece of their work. And that is so true of what you do, because even just in what you described, we've got like solidly 2 to 5 categories of support that you're offering people. And we're not even talking about everything yet, right?
No.
No. Which is awesome. And I think that's it's so interesting, because I'm not, my profession, we are not trained. We are actually probably opposite trained to be good marketers, period. Like, we probably worse than doctors and physicians, right? In the medical field, I would say that in the mental health space, it's about not taking space. It's about being the blank slate. It's about, I think even those who excelled in my graduate experience knew how to very humbly show their skills, right? Like, without being like, I'm awesome. And then we go into this space of, oh, I think I want to control my time. I think I want to build a business. I think I want to help more people. I don't want to be in an institution. There's been a lot of institutional sucky things that have happened even this week in the world of mental health. And I just wonder, for you, with your angle on understanding what luxury brand marketing is about, like, what do mental health providers, what do coaches who are in the wellness space, what do they not understand about what that angle, right? I'm wondering.
Well, I mean, I think in luxury, right, is, we're in the same group, so you get me to probably hear me talk about this quite a bit, but it's important to be authentically you and attract the right type of people that you want to be working with. And the more visible you are, so if you think of, and I'm actually I would call Marty one of my friends. He's Marty Seligman. Do you know him as a therapist or psychologist? Yeah. So he's a bridge player. I have a couple of hours of interview with Marty. And if you think of him, or you could think of like Esther Perel or any of these people, right? They're very visible, and it helped them with their careers. That's the thing, is you need to be talking about what you're doing. You need to not be scared to do that. to then eventually be able to attract the right type of clients and the right type of opportunities and the natural. And my whole business is organic marketing. So, and then I also talk about I'm an AI media specialist, but every time I talk about using AI media, I double down on half your content needs to be you and needs to be real. And people say they hate AI, yet I have AI stuff that's gone viral. And right now I have a whole channel of these story-driven videos that I'm doing with every day. I have at least one new person following me with like 1 million followers plus. It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
I hope that we're not derailing. Well, I know we're not
Yeah.
derailing, but I would love to talk about that account. And I'm like, but I think it's so relevant too, because it's about story driven, like, connection, right? And I think that many people, we have so many stories in our lives, the work that I have done in therapy and coaching in my own life. But what I love so much about this account, which is called
Lens on Legends.
Lens on Legends, is it's so history based. And I feel like that is
all my geekiness.
Yeah. Well, no,
but uplifting.
Well, and I think that we're so missing sometimes in our, this is just like the sociological issue. We're so missing we come from so much history. Everything is about the now. And I love this account, I think, because it makes it so, it's like, I don't know, I'm having potato chips. It's not like, it doesn't feel like I need to sit down with the History Channel and watch there's something about, you're pulling me into this story of this real human, and it's still AI, which is a very funny mix up of being like, it's still totally worth my time and I'm not disengaging. Right.
Yeah. The watch time on the reels have been very strong, which is great. Yeah. A lot of people, usually almost half the audience is making it all the way through to the end of the story. And granted, it's gone through all of this storytelling, and I value those 13 years I worked on Chanel, because I think that helped me understand, like, everything that brand does is about delighting the five senses. And going back to that couture show that I got to see in the Grand Palais in Paris, and we walked in, there was about 50 male models that walked you to your seat. Beautiful. It was beautiful. They transformed it into this like wintry scene, like the floors. It felt like you were walking into a forest. He had brought in birch trees from South France. This is one of the old Karl Lagerfeld. And we were launching a brand new luxury, like the products were worth retailed between $1,000 to $2,000 for a pair of eyeglasses. And they were handmade pieces, a lot of really delicate workmanship on them. And we brought in the global team from both EssilorLuxottica and Chanel and Karl Lagerfeld. And what they did is they were doing, so the models walked one runway for the fashion industry and the celebrities. And then they set up a separate scene for us. And the models walked from there and then walked through our area. And then what was so cool is Karl Lagerfeld actually came and sat in our audience. And the Chanel team was like, he never does this. This is not something he normally does. And it was just such a beautiful collection and beautiful experience, but they delighted all of the senses. So like when you guys are thinking about your own offices, and if you want to attract high wealth, I don't know how many people are mostly live, but think about the type of people that you want to attract and create that atmosphere, both in your website, your social media presence. what you say, what you wear, right? They're thinking of the sounds you heard little Tweety birds in the forest. They weren't really there, but you heard that. The smell was amazing. And then the gifts they gave us, like you sat down, they had this huge, I think I still have it. You should see this.
It's coming, guys. She's walking away.
We get to our seats, and this is a massive bottle of a boutique fragrance from Chanel is sitting in a little bag at the seat. And the whole lookbook from the collection. And that morning from the Chanel team, when I got to my hotel, and it was the weirdest thing, it was a 32-hour trip. I flew from San Francisco to Paris, got there. I was there just one night. And in my hotel room, they had handwritten notes thanking us for coming and everything we do for their brand. And they gave us bracelets. And it was all like just every single attention to detail was impeccable. And that is what an ultra luxury brand is doing. And the unexpected delights.
Well, and I think about, I think that for what you just described, it's like, it's important to get comfortable, to be visible, to be seen for the things that you're doing. And I think that there's a way sometimes people will kind of, close their eyes, post it, you know what I mean? And just do it because it needs to be done. Right. And I think that that's what's very interesting, right? This could be the most boring conversation about AEO ever, right? Like and it's valid, right? There's a lot of science behind, and you're an engineer, right? Like we could just talk about all the words, about what it needs to be and the market, right? All that.
But social media, you need to think about, people are not going in there to be educated usually, or they're there to be entertained. So you need to think about that. And I'm known for having these amazing visuals, which anybody can have nowadays. AI makes this so simple. You have to have some fun and play with it.
Well, and I think that there's a missing piece often. I have like this long list of questions that we're just not going to get to.
But we're going to run out of time.
But like, make sure if you are watching this now or later, type in your questions. We will get to them. We promise. Yeah. But absolutely, I think that what I'm seeing actually in what might be missing for people in creativity is like, now we have creative tools at our disposal, but I'm still seeing so much repetition in what we see visually, right? Like what we have possible in just AI art and videos, and it's sort of endless. And yet we just keep.
You need to make it uniquely you, and you're doing a great job. I'm really impressed with what you're doing and creating, and it's fun, right?
It is. And I think that this is kind of also thinking about like the need, because you have so many artistic references. I mean, not just from your actual work experience, but I'm sure you have probably your own like art history experience, right?
Yeah, my daughter went to School of the Arts here for drawing and painting here in Marin. She got accepted into a charter school program. Yeah. And that's the thing, is we were taking the kids, we belong to every single art museum in San Francisco. It's been a love of mine for a long time. Yeah.
And it's worth, I think sometimes when we're in business mindset, it gets boring, nerdy, dry, right? Like, or strategy based, right? Mm-hmm. But I think that what I'm seeing from your work and what I think many of us can adopt in this luxury mindset is being I think supporting delight, but also making it a full curated experience for people, right? And there's no better, like anyone who has training in emotions, like I think can do a pretty decent job. I will sometimes I'll be co-writing an article with Claude from an interview we do, right? I'll take the transcript, I'll be co-writing it. And I will say, can you provide me some metaphors that are a good fit for this conversation or this idea, right? I want people to see and feel the thing that I want them to feel when they're reading it, or that I want them to feel in that transformation. And I feel like in the work I see from you, I see that the emotion is very clear and the kind of feelings. And we don't get to have all the senses in social media or online, right?
Every Friday I post social and AI news of the week, but I don't do it generically, right? I have trained an AI agent. I have my AI avatar of myself, and it puts the new date on it, and it's got like newsprint in the background. And and like everything, and that's my own unique. I didn't take that from anybody. I came up with that concept, and it's now mine. And that's the other thing, is when I look at my Instagram feed, I'm choosing, oh, I need to put an art piece back into this, right? Okay, it needs the human touch now. There's been too much AI type stuff coming through this feed right now. And, so now we're talking about going back to businesses. People have to understand your actual AEO, SEO stuff of your business. So July 10th of last year, Instagram opened up to Google, which means Google can scan everything. The words you put on your pictures, you guys need to be putting your alt image text inside of Instagram, because that's all scannable. And when I put out a post and I don't put the alt image text, it does not get as much reach as when I put the alt image text. Super important that people are doing this. You're going to get better organic reach, but you're also telling the algorithm who to show it to. So when you're describing the images that you're putting out there.
And is it right before you go to post, that's where you put the alt image, or do you have, I think you have a video about this, so maybe we'll link that below so that people are like, okay, but why do I do it?
It's you have to go back into the settings. It's a little, but very much worth it. And then this is the other thing, is if you're a business and you're posting and you want to be known for something, you need to every week be talking about these things and putting it out there. And the first 2 sentences of your Instagram caption needs to be those keywords inside that. So, but you also need half your content that you're doing needs to be fun and light and stop the scroll stuff. So the businesses that only drone on about what they sell, you are killing your accounts. Nobody's going to follow you unless they're in crisis mode, but that's what you have to think about. So you need half your content has to be completely about the people coming through your feed and about your ideal client. Half of it. And in an entertaining way.
I know. It's
40% then needs to be who you are, customer journey to how to work with you. What does that look like? Success stories of people that got to work with you. I know, and this is the thing, as we talked about the HIPAA compliant, you have to be very careful being doctors of what you say and how you say it, and no identifiers to any actual patients of yours.
It's even, I think I think that there's even a little bit like out of the abundance of caution, which is like that, doesn't that phrase take you to a certain time and place? So there is some argument that sort of anything said in session is actually sensitive, right? It's part of that. Like fits that criteria. So what it would look like is the things you are constantly repeating yourself saying in session, because many of us are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the things that it's the topic based, like you might ask a friend, like, what do you think about difficult neighbors, right? Like it's the thing
Yeah.
that we address all the time, but there's so much, right? And I think it's not that hard. I think oh my gosh, I was about to say, I think it's lazy sometimes when people use such content, but it's also just so risky to use any kind of content from your sessions. I just don't think it's necessary. We have movies, we have history, we have all these other places we can pull from the same ideas and tell stories.
Yeah.
Okay. I have two questions. One, what is AEO? Two, because I want you to do a little definition for us.
Yep.
And then two, well, let's just do that first. One,
Okay.
what is AEO?
So AEO is answer engine optimization. And agentic AI, so this is what everybody really needs to understand is, I don't know, have you been seeing, the other day I was just watching a reel where Microsoft is coming out with a wearable device. Meta is making a wearable device. I know Apple, it's been out for a long time this fall, it will have their wearable devices. We are moving into all of us having a piece of AI on our bodies that we wear that listens to everything of our days with us. I mean, obviously we can turn these things off, but there's so many uses for this, right? That AI is listening to everything and it's using natural language. So we have to rebuild the websites in a way that the AI scans it, answering the natural questions that people are asking. So, and you can look up, and that's the thing is nowadays you train a piece of AI to go look up the things that people are asking and answering and find out all of that. You know, Jenna Larson with Group Track did Anna, which analyzes like a group and all of the things that they're asking. So you can go in there and analyze all of that and then take that and go rebuild your website pages and build your blog to answer the questions that people are actually asking. And then your business will start to show up to answer that to the AI, and you will start to be the people that it starts to recommend. So it's painful to me. I'm in a lot of doctor forums because of my career, and they sit there and complain about being slow. And I wonder what they've done about their own personal marketing. If you are only letting the insurance companies dictate who's going to find your business.
We're going to drop the mic on that because we've had a whole thing
I know this is what most doctors, and in the optical space before 1990, early 90s is when Vision Service Plan came around. And then I actually sold the very first iMed plan in North America to a doctor, put the first doctor on it. I guess I'm convincing, but and we had no panel yet. We were building out a panel.
Yeah.
It was a brand new in the 90s, right? But before that, I worked for some optometrists and they used to spend, I don't know, it was like $2,500 a quarter to advertise themselves in the yellow pages. So then what ended up happening is they got lazy once insurance started to bring people to them. And they forgot that they used to spend this money in marketing themselves.
I know.
It was part of doing business. You had to spend some money to market your business.
Yeah.
And now people don't want to do any of it. And
No.
then they complain that they're slow.
No. And and it's fascinating. So in the therapy space, and I think that like coaching is similar in some ways. We are now we have, with telehealth being available, right? That has changed with COVID, and telehealth just changed so much, right? It's allowed so many people to start businesses that never probably would in the first place. And I completely agree. I think many of us are reticent to spend any money on marketing. But what I want to ask you about, which has been coming up quite a bit lately, is people in the therapy space have felt really burned, and I think actually taken advantage of by website builders, by SEO specialists.
Yep.
And it feels like sometimes I'll coach them and talk through them what their experience is like, and it feels like a car salesman is talking to them, and it's like, just convinced, like, your website's going to break, no one will find you, any kind of presence that you have. So talk to me about how do people—
That was one of the things, is the doctors that I interviewed before I started my business, that, yeah, they had been burned many, many times by the typical bro marketer that didn't care. And that was my thing, is every single person that I work with, I do their own marketing, right? So each one of the websites that we build, they don't look the same at all. Each one is unique. Each of their socials are unique. So going back to what AEO is, and those 5 things that people have to think about,
Yeah.
their websites have to be rebuilt. You have no option right now. You have got to get the files to make sure that the language models can scan it on there. You have to have schema markup. You have to have this technical back end. Otherwise, your website is a little black box on the internet. You can drive people to it, but if you want organic traffic and people noticing it and that agents seeing it, once you fix that, you'll get more organic traffic. And then we want to make sure that the agents, because there's going to be less and less people going out and searching. Okay. Reviews matter. Google wants reviews. And I know for therapists, that could be a very, very, very difficult thing to get reviews because of the sensitivity with it all. But reviews for businesses really matter, and asking people for those reviews, the more signals that Google's getting, the better. Google profile optimization, people need to go in there. This gets back into AI, and this is like working with a digital marketing agency like myself. We have voice AI to be able to have a business be 24/7, because you have set up voice AI that answers when you don't answer. So now we can put on your Google business that you're 24/7. You're much more likely. Most of the businesses on the page 1 of Google are 24/7 businesses. If you're sitting there and you're only open 3 days a week from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 3 days a week, right?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
With my kids.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons you're down on page 10 of your Google, right? You want to be sending Google business profile posts once or twice a week.
Yeah.
You need to have 50 photos up there of different things about the business. Yeah.
What do you like? What should people be asking their agencies, right? Like, you have all the right answers, right? But how should they be vetting their people? Because to me, I think oftentimes they don't even know what to ask. They don't. Sometimes they're like, I'm not improving my, like, I've been using a service that's fine, but just low cost, supposedly help with SEO. Part of what I thought was interesting is that they said that they would connect you with backlinks, right? Or like they would reach out and try to connect, right? And I haven't seen anything yet, but and it's been 6
Mm.
months already, which is not all right. But there has been improvement, right, in the where I've moved in the Google space.
Okay.
But I think there's so many, there's so much information about people. Like, we don't know what to ask, what we can demand, I think.
So it's one of the things, like, if people go to my website, I do a free report, and I run a business through, and I can see any of the vulnerabilities that they have right now and the fixes that need to happen. So actually, maybe later today, you can email me over your website and your socials and let me run a scan for you.
Totally.
I can tell you how well this SEO agency is doing for you.
Yeah, because I think in general, people don't know what is high quality.
Yeah.
Because it feels kind of like it can get reduced down to, well, what I would like is 2 people to
And
call me
things
every
are
month,
changing.
right?
Google just did a new update 2 weeks ago, and I have been frantically, like, every day this week, I am rewriting some of the old blogs and other things that were working for my clients that are no longer working after the new update. So, and that's the thing, is it is a constant keeping up. It's, yeah. I
How
mean,
do
you
you
do. It's a part of your business, and if it matters that you want more people to find you, then you have to. It's part of hygiene. It's like brushing your teeth. We don't love to do it. The consequences. And if you're sitting there and you're pretty slow, I think you should look at, what have you been doing to market yourself besides just waiting on the insurance agencies?
Oh, and I think I think a lot of people are feeling very slow right now in the therapy space, right? And I think that there's a lot of people I work with are trying to build something outside of one-to-one therapy, right? So they're doing both, and they're hoping that their therapy business kind of can keep them afloat while they build something else, and they can diversify the way that they
Mhm.
have income, just like I think your business works, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have multiple arms of what I do and different things. And then one of the whole reasons I left corporate America is I'm this tournament bridge player, which is one of the 3 Olympic mind sports. And and the director for my old company, when I got asked to go and potentially represent the United States to go to the US Bridge Championships, which, so weird. It was beyond me that she did this to me, but there's about 2 million people that play bridge, 130,000 of them are tournament players. 60 people got invited to go potentially represent the United States, and I got asked to go. And she's like, I don't know. And they had moved me to unlimited PTO from my
I love
4 weeks, and I'd only taken 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm in the state of California too, so we have a lot of rules and regulations. You can move me to unlimited PTO, but you can never take away that original 4 weeks I had. And then she had the goal to say to me, I don't know if that's going to be fair to the rest of the team.
Oh.
And the second that happened, it ended up going to HR.
Yeah.
And I see that Barbara's here from HR with her HR background. And obviously the HR told her that she had to let me go. And then it was crazy. So now I go and there's a Google employee there who Google was like, yay, go. We hope you get picked. If you get picked, we'll give you a 3-month sabbatical to prep for the World Championships. Instead, she was threatening my job over letting me go. And so while I was there, I determined I didn't know what I was going to do. I loved what I did. I loved my clients. I loved the brand I represented, but I was no longer in a good human fit. And it wasn't the lifestyle of somebody that was now 50 that I wanted for the rest of my life. And that's the thing, is our jobs matter. right? What we do, what we wake up and do every day matter.
What we
And
do
we
most of our day.
and make it fun. And this is the other thing is half of what I do is social media. Make your social media fun and representative of you. And like this morning, to just do a little plug that you and I were doing this, I got up and I was like, oh, some of my flowers were a little. So I just filmed myself going and replacing the flowers in that vase over there.
I saw it. I filmed myself. I didn't have time to edit it, but I've just filmed my plants that are not in the ground that I keep watering so they don't die. This has been amazing. I could ask you questions all day. If anyone who watches this has questions, we're going to add all your information at the end of the show notes. And I usually do a reflection article kind of talking about.
If people want a quick scan of the AEO of their business, they can go to my website and there's a free assessment that we do. And and it gives a beautiful report. It's one of my agents that will scan everything and look at it. And it's usually interesting because there's a lot of stuff that people are missing. And like with all businesses, we know AI and we know that we're in that like 0.1% of the world and where we are with AI right now, which is insane. Even in the marketing space, there's a lot of anti-AI people. And yeah.
I know. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome.
I would love to have you back one day to talk about one of these many things that are so interesting. So thank you and see you later.
Yeah, and happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
It's always nice when we get to Fridays.
All right, take care. Bye.
Bye.